Welcome, everybody, to Night of the Nerdy Laser. I don't know the episode number. What is it?
It's 143.
Okay. Welcome, everybody, to Night of the Nerdy Laser, episode 143. We are on the road to FrankenCon, and we are talking about Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. I'm your host, as always, Richard. Welcome to Primetime Bitch Yule.
And I'm Jeff Dream Warrior Lown.
That's lame. There were a bunch of
I'm
things
Jeff
you could have chosen.
Doken.
Dockin. It's
Dokken.
I was gonna try to play that, but yeah, that's one of the best things that come out of this movie.
There's some imagery.
The Dream Warriors. Yeah, so FrankenCon is a horror con that myself and Corey from Spooky Dudes put on, among some other people that help us out. And Jeff will not come because he's, I don't know what, because he's an asshole. You're just a jerk. But it's a major thing here in the Knoxville area in Alcoa, Tennessee. If you go to FrankenConTN.com, you'll find all the information. One of the reasons we are covering Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 is we have Mr. Ken Sagoes, who plays Kincaid.
Is he the best part of this movie?
I think so. I mean, he certainly... we'll get into stuff that I remember. This is the first Nightmare movie I ever watched.
Oh, okay, cool, good.
Probably the first horror movie I ever watched, to be honest.
Is this the one your sister or somebody showed you? You said
my brother.
Your brother. I knew it was somebody. See, I pay attention partially.
Yeah. So Ken Sagoes will be there along with Mick Strawn and Nick Benson, who were special effects people on Part 4 that involved Kincaid's demise, and a host of other people like Linnea Quigley, Michelle Bauer, Brink Stevens. We've got Texas Chainsaw Massacre 50th anniversary, which is really cool, with John Dugan, William Vale, and Alan Danziger. And I mean, there's just so much, Jeff. I can't even say everybody.
What about Mick? Mick
Strawn?
Oh yeah, is he going?
Yeah, I said Mick Strawn. He's the special effects person.
Oh, okay.
And he'll have his dog Toby with him.
Well,
that's who really people want to see.
Yeah. Real star of the show.
Brian Bremer will be there from Pumpkinhead Society and Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 5, The Toy Maker. I hate saying the name of that movie.
A long one, isn't it?
It is. It's pretty.
SMDN 5.
That's probably easier, I guess. So FrankenConTN.com, FrankenConTN on Instagram and Facebook. Check us out. It's a big deal, and this is our third year. So in honor of that, we are doing the Road to FrankenCon, where last week we actually the past 2 weeks, we covered Thanksgiving the first week. Then we covered Nightmare Sisters the second week. Now we're on Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. And next week, we are going to cover Society. We may have a special guest for that episode, or maybe not. If schedules allow it, we will have
scheduling is hard.
I mean, it can be, especially this close to FrankenCon. It's especially hard for me, but it's okay. Yeah. So Nightmare Part 3. It's like the. It's the best one, most people say, right?
Yeah, I think it's the one most people relate to, besides the first, obviously. So, I mean, those two, when you hear them talk.
But I think people think Part 3 is better than 1, most people. But I have a theory, too.
All right. Yeah, I was going to say, so I think, most people probably like the more fun aspect, more creative aspect that 3 introduces, whereas 1 is more that kind of like straightforward horror that really emphasized on like Freddy and Robert England and Nancy and all that stuff. So
Well, and these kids are likable mostly, right?
yeah,
Like, and they really made every kid kind of relatable to somebody in the real world.
yeah, everybody has mental health issues, and all these kids.
Well, but I mean, just like one person likes. I
No,
mean,
I
they
get
all
what you're
have
saying.
like distinguished personalities,
The
or
athlete, the nerd, the punk
yeah,
rocker, the quiet guy. I mean, I'm like four of the people, so
that's true.
I get it.
Hmm.
But yeah, before we jump into the movie fully and kind of discuss our thoughts on it overall and all that stuff, what have you been up to?
Well, I found this game. Do you listen to Game Scoop?
No, but I did sub to it
Oh
because you
my
told me
god, it's
about
so
it 2
good.
weeks ago when we were talking about it.
It's just such a good gaming podcast. It's from IGN, and the guys on there are just awesome. It's a really good podcast, and it's really fun. But they talk about a lot of games, and I've been stressed out, so I wanted to kind of play a game. And they I've heard a couple people mention Vampire Survivors, including Corey. Apparently, Corey from Spooky Dudes has 800 hours in that damn game. But I guess it's what you call a roguelike.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's got like basically 16-bit graphics, kind of a top-down thing, and it's just like also called like bullet hell, I guess. But it's just like you start out with crappy weapons, you do the stages, and the more you do the stage, the more weapons you get, and
Sounds like
there's
Galaga.
just kind of, I mean, but from a top down thing. So you're looking, and they're just coming from all angles,
Yeah.
and they don't shoot stuff. So they're just coming at you.
Well, that's good.
But it's hard, man. I mean, it keeps track of how long you play. And I mean, to get to 10 minutes is like, you're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
I
It's,
am.
it's
I
one of
am.
those like memorize, 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 do better, do better, do better.
Well, it's really just like you just have to get better at avoiding things, getting upgrades, and then you get money, and then you can upgrade your person, and so it gets easier. Uh,
So are you
sort of
killing
speak.
vampires or are you vampires?
There's no vampires in this game, from what I know. I mean, because I looked it up, and everybody's like, "Yeah, there aren't any vampires." I mean, there are some bats in the first level, so I
Okay.
mean. And apparently they're doing like DLCs for like Contra, and where they're going to put Contra into
Oh,
this
cool.
game.
Kind of cool.
So that's kind of cool. That comes out in May, I think. But I mean, I really like it. It's something to do for 10 minutes, take my mind off of crap. This thing is on everything, by the way. It's on PS5, Xbox, Switch, mobile, PC, which I play it mainly on my PC, but I did put it on my mobile. I would play it on my Switch, but I can't find it. So
I've lost my Switch a couple times. Mostly it just gets behind like boxes, and I wish it
yeah,
was like my phone where you could like ping where it is, but
so I took it on vacation, and I'm fairly certain I brought it back. Now, am I certain that I took it out of the airplane seat back? I don't know, because I always thought it was in my backpack, but it's not. But neither is the plug. So I don't know where the hell this thing went. I haven't really looked for it. I mean, I've looked in all the places where it normally is, but
I think the cats sold it for drugs.
I'm right there with you. Yeah, probably. But it's a cool game. I want to play more video games because I like playing video games, but I don't want them to be like, I don't mind them being hard, but I don't want to have to think. So like this game, I don't have to think really at all. You're
Always
just
good.
trying to collect these blue diamonds that are rubies or stones or whatever. And the faster you fill up the bar, then you get to select a new weapon
Yeah. Okay.
and such. So really, that's why I like it. I would like it probably more on my Switch, but my screen is bigger on the PC, and I'm blind now. So
So everything worked out.
yeah.
So I have a couple.
And for the PC, like you literally only use the four buttons, so you don't have to think. Like
Just the arrows or the AS.
yeah, Yeah.
AWSD or whatever.
Well, I guess you could use that, but I use the arrows.
Oh, all right. I've been playing a lot of games lately too this year. Like I tried to make it a point to get back into playing stuff just because I felt like, we were playing Warzone constantly, and I was like, this game's driving me crazy and killing me internally. But I've been playing a lot of stuff, and I keep track of every like media thing that I do, like intake, because I'm crazy in a notebook. But yeah, I've beaten about 15 games this year, which is really good for me. Most of
Good
them are like Super
God.
Nintendo stuff like that, like the Donkey Kong game, Super Mario World. But we've played some other ones, me and Peyton. I think we've beat all of the Gears of War games this year so far, except
Man,
for 5.
I'd like to play that. I wish I could. I need to just buy one of those so we can play together.
Yeah, you
Because that'd be
should
fun.
wait until probably like past June, because they're going to come out supposedly with not a new one, but like the upgraded one. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
how they
yeah.
always release like another version of the most recent console a few
Yeah.
years after. That's where they're at in the cycle, because they're saying 27 or 28 is when the new, like whatever the next incarnation of Xbox and PS5 are going to come out. So they always release one midway and then one kind of a year or two before the newest one that are at like a markdown price because they love money. So that's kind of where they're at. But yeah, that's cool. You're playing that. I might have to check it out. Is it fairly cheap, or is it an expensive?
Oh, yeah. On PC, I bought like it and like 3 DLCs for like $11.
That's not bad at all.
So, I mean, the DLCs are like different games and stuff. Kind of, they're not the same. So, it's worth it. It's worth getting. And it's kind of spooky. Like it's got that kind of Castlevania vibe, sort of, with bats and monsters and skeleton things and such.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. So I have a couple things that I want to talk about before we move on to the next segment. But so lately, I told you I've been buying up a bunch of comic books and manga.
Oh, yeah.
And I think just because I got tired of buying other random stuff like movies. But so yeah, I bought Void Rivals, and I read through that first trade paperback.
Oh, I haven't read it yet. Is it good?
I liked it. I thought it was good. I'm still trying to figure out like everything, because I'm going to go back. Obviously, it's a trade paperback. It's like 5 issues. You could read that in like half an hour if you really want to. So I'm going to go back, but I liked the first run through of it. Kind of made me want to read the Transformers that he put out as well, or that Image is doing, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Imogen Skybound has the Transformers license, and they're up to issue 7, I think.
So I think there's like one trade out for that right now, and then eventually
Yes.
they'll have 2, because it's typically like 5 to 6 issues per trade.
Yeah.
So I've been getting that. I also grabbed like 4 other ones. I think I sent you the picture, but most of them were by James Tinian the Fourth, I think his name is. But he did Department of Truth, The Nice House on the Lake, and Something is Killing the Children.
Yeah.
They're all kind of horror related, I think. I don't know about Department of Truth. I think that one's like conspiracies and stuff, which is, I'm cool with that too. So that, and then I got Plunge by Joe Hill. And I think Rebecca McKendry kind of recommended that one on an old episode of Colors of the Dark podcast I was going back and listening to. And it sounded interesting. Plus, Joe Hill's a pretty good writer, so I figured why not. But the other thing I wanted to talk about, and you could probably talk a little bit about this as well. I don't know if you ended up finishing it, but I watched, and I know we're not going to cover it on the show, but I watched Night Swim.
I haven't finished it yet.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll do my best in not spoiling it. It's not good. So,
I mean, I watched a half hour of it, and it wasn't bad. I didn't hate it.
No, like, so it's getting pretty bad ratings on Letterboxd. I posted
people are not happy with it, but
so it's one I wanted to see in theaters, and I was going to go with my friend Joe, and then like I had avoided reading anything about it, and then I saw reviews, and they were all bad, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to waste money on the like one theater trip of the year, so I didn't go. So you told me it was on Peacock. I've been watching a lot of stuff lately, so I put that on, and The first third, setting up the story and the background and all that stuff. Typical movie and typical like Blumhouse fashion. It's an hour and a half long, hour 40 minutes long, and gets right to the point. But I there's like I'm a baseball fan, so like there's some like scene with like CGI baseball stuff, and I'm like, this is making me mad. And my favorite thing in movies is like when actors pretend to be athletes. Like in one scene, this guy's like, let's throw the ball or something, and it's like that guy's never thrown a baseball in his life. Like there's zero form to that. There's like the mechanics are all off. I'm like, would have been better off CGI and a guy that did it and like putting that guy's face on it. But no, I thought it was cool because the guy in the movie used to play, I guess, third base for the Brewers, and he has MS, and you kind of find out something about that and the past history of that house and the pool. I kind of wanted to know more about that. You don't really get too much into that. I don't think that'll affect it for you, but like, and then the payoff just wasn't what I wanted, because I was like, all right, we really gotta turn it around here to like save this from being a complete stinker, and it just did not do it for me.
I got you.
So
non-horror related news. I've been watching X-Men '97. So.
Oh yeah, how is it?
It's good.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, that 5th episode, you're gonna cry.
I was looking at Disney rewards today, because I check every once in a while. It's like a thing where every time you buy a movie from them or whatever, you get rewards points on the little slip and all that in the cases. And I have like 2,000 points, which isn't a lot at all. But I saw that they had an X-Men '97 poster available for like 800 points. So I was tempted to grab one of those for myself just to have it. And then I was like, wait a minute, I have a Bob's Burgers one, and I have, I think, a Mandalorian one I got from their reward stuff, and they're both just sitting in a tube. So I was like, maybe I won't get the X-Men '97 one.
Also, as we're recording this, today, NECA announced a new figure, a new Ultimate figure, and it's an Ultimate Jigsaw figure.
Yeah.
So probably be out in time for Saw 11.
Which we'll be covering. We've committed. We can't. we put too much into that.
We're going to rewatch all 10 of them again this year.
Yeah.
So the NECA figure, they've made other ones. In fact, I mean, I bought one. I know back. Well, it was before 2013 for sure. But I mean, it was the. I'm guessing it was maybe a Movie Maniac. I don't know. They all kind of blend together. But the Chase figure was the John. They basically, he's just wearing the robe.
Yeah, the like black with red outline on it or whatever.
So the one I had back in the day, I remember the Chase was the Chase the John head or the pig head? I don't know, but anyway, I had the pig head, I think. And then it came with a little Billy and a bicycle too, which this new one does too, which is probably the same one that they've made in the past. So
just a remold.
I mean, it's probably the same mold. I mean, they just make more. And then, but this one comes with 3 heads, the reverse bear trap, and a voice recorder.
Oh, deadly game.
And it looks cool. I mean, I might get it. I think I'm trying to remember if I got the Toonie Terror Jigsaw. I think I did.
I feel like you did, because I want to say you showed it to me.
Yeah, I think I did. I like that one a lot. I like that Toonie Terror series. I should have really just.
Did you get those from Big Bad?
Typically, I just get them from Target.
See, and our store doesn't get anything. So.
Oh, Target. That's the only thing I can find at any given time.
NECA
and Toonie Terror specifically. Like right now, I mean, the other night, I mean, they had the Grady twins, which those came out a while back. I've seen Elvira there. I mean, just a ton. I mean, like basically any of them. I mean, I've even seen Leatherface, and that was the first series, I think.
Yeah, I thought I had him.
I have him over here somewhere.
I don't have him.
But I mean, it's a great series. It's really fun. I wish they would almost make like a play set to go along with them.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, where you could put them all in there, and it just be kind of not really make sense, but just like a house where you could put them in. They're really cool. So with this Ultimate figure, be on the lookout of that. I wish it came with a black hoodie and a backwards hat, so you could de-age him.
Hello.
Look, you're
Hello,
15 years
fellas.
younger.
Yeah, it works wonders, the old backwards hat trick.
That's the funniest thing I've ever seen in that and that puppet bursting through that window or whatever. Those are the two of the funniest things I've ever seen in a movie. It's great. So some cool stuff coming out. I like the Ultimate line. I've got a few of them, but
I think. I mean, what do I have? I have all the Friday the 13th. I'm pretty sure those are the Ultimates. They're the box with the opening.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I think I got 2, 3, 5. I think I skipped 4 for some reason because I couldn't find it at the time, and then I got out of buying, and then I was like, I need it. The only other ones I want to get the Saw figure now that you mentioned it, and I'd like to get the My Bloody Valentine one. But that one comes in like a weird plastic one. So
it's a cloth figure.
Yeah, so I don't want it. I got it once. It came all damaged. I sent it back. Took like 3 months.
I like that one. I have that one. It's a great figure. I have that Toonie Terror as well, and that one's great.
See, and that's the one I want. I should just try to finish that line because I have most of them.
I mean, it's the easiest line. Like, there's no variance really. There's
one variant. There's 2 variants.
I think I think Elvira has one too.
So Ash from Evil Dead has one because there's one
bloody and non-bloody.
Yeah, and then there's a Michael Myers where he's got the bloody eye drip coming.
Oh, the mask. Yeah, but those are stupid. Like, you don't have to get those. It's not like changing. I mean, like the Child's Play for Funko, like those are different figures. They're just not like a splatter of blood. I mean, you have the pizza face Chucky and good guy Chucky and torso ripped in half Chucky.
Wasn't he like the spring on one of them or something like that?
The Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
I've got that one too. I think I don't have all of them, but I have a lot of them. I have the cool ones. I saw somebody was selling that pizza face one for like $50. I was like,
jeez.
But I mean, it was a Walmart exclusive. So
did you see they either did release or were releasing like a Bride of Chucky, like giant figure of what's her name?
Oh, a Funko Pop?
I don't know if it's a Funko. But I just
the Trick or Treat Studios probably. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I saw that on a post.
I need to make that a goal, is to buy me a life-size Chucky.
Does it come with the Good Guys box and all that too?
I don't know. I've never really seen one.
I wish it did, because that would make it so much cooler.
I mean, that would be cool, but it'd probably be $200 more if it did. But yeah, some cool stuff. I got the Texas Chainsaw Leatherface Ultimate, the John Carver Ultimate, the Chucky Ultimate. I probably have some others I can't think of right now, but I like the Ultimate line. But honestly, I would just rather them do a Saw series instead of these Ultimates, and like, you do Jigsaw, you do Amanda, you do. I mean, they have enough recognizable character. Hoffman,
yeah.
Yeah, you have enough recognizable characters and important characters that you could do a line of 4 figures with a Build-A-Figure.
The Build-A-Figure is Donnie Wahlberg looking like a caveman in part 5.
No, the Build-A-Figure is on the blocks of ice or whatever. Oh god, a whole play set. I was gonna say the Build-A-Figure is the safe and the son, his son
pops out. That'd be funny too.
But I mean, think about it. You could do like a trap of, you could make some sort of trap, and I don't know. I just think they could do, but I understand why they don't. Like I said, I know they're reusing parts for this Ultimate Jigsaw.
Oh yeah,
I know they are.
yeah.
So, I mean, and it's fine, but I mean, I just miss lines like Movie Maniacs, where it was like, with these Ultimates, you just get one-offs, and I kind of I kind of just would rather them come out in series.
What was the line that Breaker told us about when he came on the show? It was like it was Movie Maniacs, but they're doing something else now. I wish I remember because it sounded cool, and I know I said I wanted it when he told us.
Yeah, I think I remember what you're talking about, but I don't remember.
Now,
Because even though that was just 3 episodes ago, it was actually like
it's like
13
5 months
episodes
ago.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't remember, but go back in our archives and listen. And Movie Maniacs are back with like Harry Potter and Clark Griswold.
Looks
and
like they're
stuff.
doing a Big Lebowski Movie Maniac.
They just announced Big Lebowski, the Hangover,
40-Year-Old Virgin.
and 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Oh,
Those are
Dazed and Confused.
Yep, those are the 4 they announced.
Looks like they got Rocky figures, Fallout figures from that new show. Huh. Maybe
Right.
it was Trick or Treat Studios. Anyway, yeah, let's talk about Jason.
Oh
down
yeah,
the
maybe
dungeon.
Trick or Treat. Yeah. Oh, Jason. Good old Jason down the dungeon has he has some of these NECA 12-inch figures, but he won't let loose of them. But you can go look at them. He's got like Pinhead, and I think he's got Texas Chainsaw Leatherface. And but you can go to his physical media location here in Maryville, Tennessee. Go to East Broadway, take the roundabout, and go behind Southland Books, and you'll see the dungeon back there. Go inside, and you'll see all things from Blu-rays, DVDs, VHS, vinyl records, laser discs, some betas. I know that Godfather's still there. And tons of video games. And just if you really like the hard-to-find VHS, then the dungeon at Southland is your place to go. Now, if you're not in town, it's okay. You can go to Instagram and you can go to Southland_dungeon. He posts everything he gets in. If you see something you like, just give him a message, and he can you can work out that deal together. And if you're coming to FrankenCon, Jason will be there with all his wares. So
he has wares if you have coin.
All right. So Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. It's been a while since I've seen this one. I forgot that Heather Langenkamp was in this and John Saxon.
Really?
I had no clue that they were in this movie. I don't know why. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen it. Look, I'm just going to be honest. Part 6 is my favorite. I don't care. Everyone go to hell. It's my favorite Freddy. I think it's the one I like to watch the most. It's the first one I saw in the theater, so that's why I like it. But I just think it's fun. And I even like 4 and 5.
Look, there's no shame in that because I like Halloween 4, 5, and 6. I like Friday the 13th Part 5. I like Manhattan, all the like notoriously not as popular
bad ones.
Yeah, so I dig it. I mean, Nightmare was a franchise I haven't watched obviously as much as the other two, but the times that I do watch through it, there's not really any that I pick out and I'm like, oh, these are terrible. I mean,
1 feels the most out of place
based on how Freddy evolves over time. Yes.
Yeah, 1 and 2, really. I mean, really from 3 on, it just gets crazier.
That's true.
Yeah. By 6, they're playing video. He's got the power glove on. I mean, hell.
Which one's the one with the guy in the comic book where he draws comic books? Is that 6?
I think that's 5. I think it's 5 because that's Super Freddy, right?
Yeah, that one's cool.
Yeah, I believe it's 5. And 5 is underrated, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I like 5. It's got some cool deaths, Super Freddy's awesome. They made a figure of that too.
Really?
It was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive.
Wow.
It's
Everything's
not
hard to get.
crazy expensive. I mean, I think you can get it for $100. I'm not sure, but it was a cool figure. Corey got me the guy's autograph. The Michael Bailey Smith, I believe, is his name, that played Super Freddy.
Yeah.
Corey got me his autograph. He's apparently he's a really nice guy. I've never met him, but I heard he's nice.
Oh, you got
But
his
it's
autograph.
not fair. Corey, I paid for the autograph, and then Corey got a picture with him.
Got to meet the guy and took the
Asshole,
picture.
yeah. So yeah, this one. I mean, by the time 3 came out, there was Freddy fever, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
And that went well into the 90s, even like when that happened. Because I mean, they address it kind of in New Nightmare, where Robert Englund shows up, you know, in full Freddy makeup and gear and all that stuff when Heather's on that talk show.
yeah. Well, and she dies. I mean, spoiler, I guess, for a 100-year-old movie at this point. But she dies in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Freddy gave her the old I'm your father trick.
The old I'm your father.
She's like, oh, hey, what do you mean passing on?
But yeah, Patricia Arquette, I loved in this movie. I thought she was great. They kind of make her like a new blood kind of thing, right? Like, because she has a special power.
Yeah.
Where she can bring people into her dreams.
Yeah. And I would say for this film, it has probably the most or some of the most iconic kills and like just imagery in general.
Yes and no.
Each film has one or two that sticks out. But this one, I could kind of see all of them.
I mean, the Welcome to Primetime is for sure, and that's a figure too.
Yeah.
So that for sure is iconic, and it helps that it's funny,
Yeah.
I mean, for me, the most terrifying, the first thing I remember about Nightmare on Elm Street is the puppet guy.
Yeah.
Is Freddy ripping his veins out and walking him out the building.
Yeah.
Which at 8 years old, that's terrifying.
Yeah, that's a good image. The one where he's like the children's souls keep me full or fed or give me power, and it's got all those faces on his stomach. I think that's like pretty iconic.
Which I think Linnea Quigley is one of those faces.
Really?
It's either in that or part 4, but I think it's part 3. I think she's one of the faces.
That's cool. The syringe fingers
and
the girl's arm with all the marks, like the injection marks. They look like little eyes blinking. Like that creeps me out. Like
that does creep me out. Yeah. And that thing at the beginning, that Freddy thing that's swallowing
the worm.
Yeah.
That's another one. And then even the little house that Patricia Arquette builds that always is stuck with me. That and she's holding that little girl and it's just like a toasted skeleton and she's like and just throws it on the floor. But I think like you were saying, this is one that most people probably say is their favorite. This or one, but this one for me, I mean, I like one a lot, but this one is a very close second for me. So it could either go 1-3 or 3-1, as far as the ones I like the most.
Where is 6?
Where's 6? It's around.
Oh, number 1. That's where it is.
Yeah, it's in a different stratosphere. It's so good.
So, yeah, I mean, the cast is great. I really like the cast. I mean, I think this one resonates with people because there's no parents, mostly.
Right.
The kids are on their own because they're in a psych ward, and the parents put them there.
Yeah.
Basically. Frank Darabont was a writer on this.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull that up too. There was some trivia stuff I wanted to talk about. I think that's kind of a cool thing to mention. Let's see. The Freddy glove that was stolen from the set of this film was found in another movie. It was hanging on the wall of the work shed in Evil Dead 2. released the same year. It was part of the continued banter between directors Wes Craven and Sam Raimi.
Oh,
See The Hills Have Eyes, Evil Dead, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Evil Dead 2 for more information. So I guess they must have just did little things like that.
that's funny. I also know on the VHS that the video for Dream Warriors appeared on after the movie, which
Yeah.
this was cool on VHS. I remember, and you know what other movie I remember this happening? It was before the credits, though. It was for Addams Family.
Really?
Because MC Hammer had an Addams Family song.
Of course he did. Why
Yep.
wouldn't he?
And but it was out at the very beginning of that movie.
That's interesting. I was reading more on the trivia thing here. It said Ken Sagoes stated in the interview he didn't really want to audition for Kincaid, but his agent talked him into going. But I think, what does he say? Does he say, tell that one guy, have a nice stroll, asshole?
Yeah.
That's one of the like more iconic lines, I think. That one's always kind of stuck with me.
Kincaid has a ton of lines.
Yeah.
In this movie.
Yeah. I didn't realize he had such a big part until rewatching it this time.
He goes into part 4.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, shortly into part 4.
Kind of like the sister in Halloween 5.
That's a different person, isn't it?
Well, yeah, they kill off the sister, and then the main character becomes like her friend. And why did we do that? Why did we do that?
But yeah, I just remember this one always freaking me out a little bit as a kid, and then I didn't see 4 or 5 till recently, till like 2 years ago.
Oh, really? When you watched through all of them, or what?
I didn't watch through all of them, but I picked and chose. I didn't watch 3, and I had seen 2 because of having Mark Patton at the first FrankenCon. And then I watched Nightmare, the first one, about 10 years ago for the first time. I'd never seen the original. But I really like part 5 because it's got body. I mean, Freddy Krueger is kind of body horror anyway, but the one where the dude's turning into the motorcycle is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah. I dig this one, but I don't dig it as much as other people. Like I don't think it's the best one, but I mean that it's kind of because of nostalgia. But
no, I get that.
Honestly, as a movie, it being I like the Dream Warriors kind of thing,
Yeah.
The framing of that, where they're all kind of together, they go into each other's dreams. Like it's cool the way the story was written and flowed better than most of the Nightmare movies.
Yeah, I think so. All kinds of little segments that like build together to make a full movie.
Yeah. So, anything else you wanted to say about Nightmare Part Trey?
No, I don't think so. With our new format, it's mostly just kind of an overview of it, where we, give the viewers a chance to kind of go watch it, spoiler free.
I mean, we spoiled a bunch of the deaths, but if you haven't seen Nightmare on Elm Street, I can't really help you because even I've seen these.
Yeah, and you're pretty bad about seeing stuff.
Yeah.
So am I, though. So anytime Mike asks me to watch something, I'm like, okay, you got it, buddy. Like 5 months pass, he's like, did you watch that? I'm like, was I supposed to watch that? I forgot. It was so long in between that I forgot. But yeah, no, it's a fun movie. I know we used to watch it growing up, put it on like parties and stuff. So one of the few ones that and Saw 1 and 2 for some reason, and I was like, that's not really a party movie, but whatever.
2 kind of is.
Yeah,
I could
like
see 2 being so. Yeah. I mean, hell, me and my friends, we used to watch. What's those fucking movies called? The
you told me one.
Faces of Death.
Yeah. What was the other one you just told me the other day? And I was like, oh, we could cover that if you want.
Oh, I don't know.
Me either. I can't remember now. But
no, it was a regular movie.
Yeah.
And I said I watched it a lot.
Yeah.
We'll never know the answer.
So what do you rate this one?
I give it 3.5 Freddy gloves out of 5.
That's where I'm at with it too. 3.5. It could be a 4 at times, but I'm pretty comfortable with the 3.5, like on a
Yeah.
consistent basis.
Yeah, I mean, I dig it. Y'all should too. Give it a watch, rewatch the Nightmare movies. It's always nice to revisit those franchises and learn how bad, not great they are. Freddy holds up though because of the comedy. I think that's what hurts Saw sometimes. Is like, well, Saw is rooted in the real world, right? So anytime things are rooted in the real world, when something ridiculous like a puppet going full speed through a window happens, it's just the funniest damn thing ever. But Freddy has the luxury of not being rooted in the real world, you
No,
know.
you just
So
do whatever.
I was kind of shocked of how little Freddy is in this movie.
Yeah, he kind of is. The other thing I did want to say, I guess there's one last thing I did want to mention real quick, was
Nope, too late.
the skeleton fight in the junkyard.
Oh yeah, that came like out of
I
nowhere.
forgot that existed
I
because
did too.
John Saxon shows up with the other doctor that's working with Heather, and they're like trying to find Freddy's body. I know it's sort of a spoiler, but not that big of a deal. But like I forgot that whole like part exists most of the time. So yeah, it's just kind of interesting. It kind of reminded me of like the skeletons and Army of Darkness and stuff.
I also wonder if they did that last junkyard scene in 3 and then at the beginning of 4 to kind of save money and time and stuff. You know, that I'm guessing they were
Probably.
recorded together.
Yeah, I would assume. Just because at
I
this
can.
point they were just green lighting sequels like nobody's
Oh yeah,
business.
yeah. It didn't matter.
There was just so much money in Freddy and the merchandise and the dolls and the cereals, the NES game, just anything, replica
Pretty
hat.
much.
So
Now there's even more money in it.
mm.
Wonder if they'll make a Nightmare game like they did Freddy and Evil Dead and Texas Chainsaw. Like that would be cool if you could get like do a Dream Warriors kind of game, you know?
Actually, yeah, that'd make one of those games kind of unique. I played a little bit of the Texas Chainsaw one with Mike. It's not bad, but the one I'm kind of curious to see what they do with is the Killer
Kill
Clowns.
Clowns.
Yeah,
Yeah, that should be coming out soon.
yeah. But
All right. Well, how could people at home help us out, Jeff, if they like our podcast?
if they like our podcast, they can go ahead and subscribe to our podcast. You could do that on Apple Music. You could do that on Spotify, a couple other places. You could also go to our YouTube page at Night of the Nerdy Laser. Hit that subscribe button. You've been loading up a bunch of episodes on there. So
Yeah, see, I can do something every now and
you
then.
could do it, everybody. You heard it here first. But yeah, go on there. And then as far as helping us, it's free. All you guys would have to do is, give us a rating or a review, and hopefully 5 stars. We provide a weekly show to you guys for free. And if we could get our numbers up a little bit more with the help of some reviews and the algorithm, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah, and we will continue the road to FrankenCon next week with Society, hopefully with a special guest, but if not, we will be covering that movie. And if you haven't seen it, you should give it a watch. And because we may spoil some of it, we'll probably spoil that movie, especially if we have the guest on. But anyway, it's a weird movie. If you like body horror, I mean, it's one of the king of body horror movies. That and Street Trash, I feel, are like 2 of the best.
Yeah.
And so yeah, check that out. And yeah, until next time, what should everybody do, Jeffrey?
They need to keep it bloody.
Because somebody has to. And now you're playing with power.
Meow, 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 meow.